Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the morning draw. I am the Gray Hair Trader, and today it is June 12th, 2023, man. And hey, let's get right into it. Let's see what the draw is for this week. Let's see what we may be able to expect, or at least what we should keep our eyes open for. Now, before I even get into too much on different places the market could potentially pull, we like to approach it from a where could it pull to for the bullish side and where could it pull to from the bearish side. Let's speak about some of the news we have this week. We have some really high news drivers this week. We have CPI. CPI is like a freight train, like that bullet train, just flying down when it chooses to go which way that price wants to be driven. And then the next day, man, we have FOMC. So Tuesday CPI, Wednesday we have FOMC. Those are two really big news drivers where I think the quote unquote market makers use to push the market in the direction they want the market to go. So let's take a look on where the market could potentially go. Like I said, this is a high news week. So CPI is 8:30 Tuesday. Wednesday at 8:30 in the morning we have PPI, which will make it jump just a little bit. And then FOMC is one of the big news drivers. That'll be at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. We have some news sales at about 8:30 on Thursday. And then we have consumer consent at 10 a.m. on Friday. So keep your eyes peeled and be open for that. Now let's get back to what we're talking about. What you're looking at right here is a weekly chart. Now if you remember, it was a high right around this area that we were looking for the last couple of weeks. The end, well, all last week we thought the market might trade up to, and then the week before we thought the market might come up here. So we had it last week, especially on this new contract. The contract is about to roll over. The new ES contract will be rolling over. For some people it has rolled over now, but the volume on the old contract is still slightly higher. So we're still trading the old contract, but let's just use the continuous contract to show what the market did. The market took out that swing that we had in place that we were looking at. Let's go ahead and just label this right quick so you can see for visual purposes. This was that swing that we were hunting, at least that we thought the market might want to get to. So we'll keep that mark. The market took that out. We also had a huge gap up from Thursday to Friday, and we know what ICT teaches when you have those price voids, when it gaps up or gaps down, whether it's a new daily gap, new week opening gap, you can look for price to at some point revisit that area. And so that's what we're looking at. So just mark out some things that we see on the weekly chart. Here we are right here for the new week. As you see, man, we've had some pretty nice bullish movement up. And what's the first thing you see right here, man? Look at this. This is just real nice weekly gap right here. I don't even know if I have a, oh yes I do, man. I do have a highlight for a weekly gap. Should have known that, because this gray area here is a weekly gap. Well, I almost feel this bearish weekly gap, but down here we have a bullish weekly gap also. If you pay attention, this is between 2 weeks. This is, look at this nice new week opening gap that is pretty much a price void that we talked about price could look to trade back into. So we also want to mark those out and look where they fall in line, right inside of this. Also something that we want to keep our eyes on, we want to mark 50% of that weekly gap, because we want to keep our eyes open for the CE. The CE is the middle, or till I say 50% of fair value gaps, and that's places that ICT says the market could potentially turn around. So let me just mark this 50% of this weekly, just keep our eyes on that. I just want to keep my eyes on that, just to see. Let me take this box off. Okay, so now that we have a couple things marked, first thing, the thing that sticks out to me most, now this is a bearish gap up here on the daily. I mark my gaps blue gaps, but when you take a look right down here, when I just say, okay, where could price want to drive to? For the bullish side, we clearly see we could keep going up, finish this gap, and then get all the way in here. But if we were to come bearish, I mean, this is just looking real nice for us to get back down to. Plus we had a pretty nice price void from Thursday to Friday that we're going to see once we jump down to the daily. So this is a weekly. We have this price void right here that's inside a weekly gap right under the CE of the gap. So let's go down to the daily chart and let's see how some of that translates to the daily. First thing we see right up here, this is this new day opening gap right here. This is the daily chart. Here goes that new daily gap that we spoke about. Look at that, man. That is a pretty significant area. So I'm gonna make those smaller. I like to have my new week daily gaps smaller than the new week opening gap. So I know it's a lot of lines, but you know, it's just for visual purposes. Look at this. This is screaming to me. When I look at this chart and you take a look, you tell me what would stand out to you the most. This area, it just truly just stands out. Also, look at these daily gaps. Now remember, this green line is a weak fair value gap. So take a look at this. This is just screaming to at least pay attention to me. Pay attention. You know what I mean? Pay attention. Pay attention to what we're doing. Remember, this line right here was that swing. Let me make that a different color so you'll know. That was that swing high that we had looked at, and you see from Thursday to Friday, price on the new contract, the continuous contract, price gapped up above it. Now it didn't have that gap up on the current contract, the one that's getting ready to be put to the side as we start to move into the September contract, which is right now we're on the June contract. We didn't have this gap up, but we know, you know, price will follow. We also had on the new contract for the NASDAQ and the Dow, which is the YM and the NQ, we had a huge gap up as such. And so this price void is just, it's just calling our name like, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And so, man, I could see price getting back into this area. Now, will it get there today? I don't know. Right here we have a swing high from Friday. We have the high from Friday, so we'll mark that just to keep our eyes on that. Let me go down to the hour because I forgot I normally have that marked to where you can't see it on the daily. So now that we have it back, we can see it on the daily. Let's go back to the daily chart, and we have the high from Friday right here. It's the low from Friday, and we're just gonna see what price does, man. If price decides to stay bullish, this is on the daily, I could see us just continuing get up into this daily gap as well, maybe hit the CE of it, which will be 50%, and then make its way back down to some of this area, or we could just take that out right here and then come back into this price void. So some of the areas that we could be looking for, if we do continue bullish, we could be looking for, the first place would be 43.70, 43.69, 75, 43.70, which would be Friday's high. We could finish completely 100% this weekly gap, which would be 43.76, or we could get inside this daily gap, which is 43.94. The middle of it is somewhere around 44.15, and if we just want to just keep reaching for the sky, man, that could be 44.34. If we were to come bearish, then we could take this high out, make our way back down to some of these price voids. So we could look at the top of the price void, which was the new day opening gap, which is around 43.41.50, or we could get to Friday's low, which would be around 43.27.50. Now we had expansion when you add in from Friday the gap up, plus we had some more expansion where the price ran, even though it did come back down, and we have CPI and FOMC tomorrow and the day after, man. Today could be like a real just sideways day. Sideways. I mean, that's what today could be, just sideways. As the market and the algorithm continues to just get itself ready to explode in whichever direction that it's going to go. But those are some of the areas I would look for. If you're looking for the bearish side, look for 43.41. Look for 43.27. Those could be just areas for you to just keep your eyes on and just see if it gets back down to these areas. I mean, let's drop down to our chart and see what we see. Let me pull this indicator off that has these gaps marked for me. Man, like I said, when you look, it's just screaming, man. This between this line and this line, that's that price for it. It's just screaming, man. And we have the first gap we have some nice equal lows right here that lead into this. It's an hour gap right here. Some real nice equal lows right on top of that look really nice. I mean, it just look really nice, you know what I mean? Now, I know I'm marking everything up, but it's just, you know, for visual purposes for you to see. We have that hour gap. After that, man, we're pretty covered until we get down in here from a lower time frame standpoint. This is the hour chart. I'm not even gonna drop down to the 15 or the 5, but those are some of the areas we could look for. And if we go bearish, we could look for something like this. And just settle down in here. To be honest, man, the market has been moving consistently around 40 to 50 points. It's been averaging around 40 to 50 points for the last month or so. We've had some days that did give us larger expansion in a larger range, but for the most part, it's been about 40 or 50 points. So I would look for the market to stay around there today. Like I said, two really big news drivers, CPI, FOMC this week. So I don't know. We're keeping our eyes out. If we do get expansion, then we'll be looking for it. But if not, if it goes sideways, we will not be surprised whatsoever. Alright, well, that's the daily draw, or should I say the morning draw, for June 12th, 2023. I am the Gray Hair Trader. Stay safe. Watch what you see. Study. Pay attention. And most of all, believe in yourself. I'm out.